Hello. All right, y'all. Let's talk about adult friendships, because as an adult, as a person in their mid-20s trying to make friends as an adult, I'm seeing a lot of difficulties here. But why is it difficult for adults to have friends and create friendships? Okay. So the reason as to why I feel personally, these are my personal opinions and my insight and everything, not everything that I say is 100% correct. This is just my opinion. But what I've observed is many adults, they are adults by age, but they are not grown in their mind. They're not. Okay. And I had made a video about this last year where I was like, there are people that are aged boys and aged girls, but they are not men and they are not women. An aged girl or boy is someone that has gone through puberty, complete adult puberty. They are in an adult body. They are adult ages, meaning they are legal. They can be trialed as an adult in prison. They can buy tobacco products. They can buy alcohol. Some of them are like, they're legally able to rent a car. You got to be 25 by that. But what happens is that, so we're talking about adult friendships and why is it difficult to develop adult friendships now. So what's happening here is that when you have people that are, okay, yeah, that's what I was saying about age boys and age girls, is where they're living in this adult body, but they still have the mindset of a child. When you think like a child, you act like a child. I mean, just think of the things that you did when you were a teenager, like how you behaved in high school, how you behaved in middle school, or even like in, like 18, 19 years old. Think about how you behaved in certain ways and how you may have behaved impulsively or reacted in a certain way, reacted off of your emotion, may have been a little bit more selfish at times. Those are things that a lot of us go through as children. It's something that we just have to mature through. Eventually, we just learn our toxic ways and we correct them and we change them. When a person becomes an adult, that is when they are able to look at themselves and have self-awareness, and they can self-reflect. Okay? When they have self-awareness, they are aware of themselves. They are aware of their behaviors, their emotions, their energy. They are aware of their triggers. So when something happens that triggers you, you're like, okay, it's not even you that just did this. It's something that happened years ago that just made me remember something. Just right now, I said the word self-reflection. What that just triggered me in this very moment was when I was dealing with this narcissist in a situationship. He used to always talk about self-reflection, but he never self-reflected. And then one time he tried to gaslight me and say, why don't you self-reflect on that? So at that point in time, it's like that word right there, even though I said it, I just triggered myself. But what I just did in my moment, in my brain, I'm like, look, baby, it's not existing right now. It's in the past. It can't hurt you right now. Be in the present moment. Okay. I literally just had to work through my own shadow just real quick. So anyway, but listen, when you are an adult, you can self-reflect and you are self-aware of a lot of your things, so that when you're more aware of your triggers, then when things happen that trigger you, you're able to respond and not react. There's a difference between responding and reacting. Reacting is impulsive. It's quick. It's very, very quick. Responding is where you take a pause, where you have allowed the emotion to pass through. So you respond in a way that's calm and from peace and from wisdom. When people react is where they get impulsive, And a lot of times when we are young, when we are children, when stuff happens, we tend to react very quickly. And that's what causes, it's a more of like an emotionally immature way to handle a situation. But when you're a child, it's okay for you to do stuff like that because you really don't know any better. But once you become an adult and you look back and you think, okay, now I gotta chill. I really gotta watch how I talk. I gotta watch how I speak to people. I gotta watch my tone of voice, because I can't just sit here and talk to people any your kind of way, because I wouldn't like that done to me. So if I wouldn't like somebody just talking to me any your kind of way with whatever tone, let me not do that to somebody else. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's something that as you mature and you become an adult, as you mature as an adult, you learn this, because, you know, every human being deserves respect because you are a human being. But that does not give you the right to just go disrespect somebody. And people say respect has to be earned. Honorable respect has to be earned. You want to be respected as an authority figure, as a respectful, honorable person, then you have to earn that right. But everybody deserves respect as a human being. You are a human being. Can't nobody just walk up to you and just clock you upside the head. Can't nobody do that to you, because you can't do that to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Every human being deserves respect. People in the grocery store, people in the fast food restaurants. Just because your order is taking too long, it's not the cashier's fault. Stop going off on this baby. Oh, that person. Be respectful. They still are a human being. That is still somebody's child. That is somebody's mother. That is somebody's father, somebody's son, somebody's sister and brother. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Every single person deserves respect because we are a human being. But when people want this extra layers of respect, like I want you to honor me like I'm an authority figure, okay, then you have to present yourself as a person of honor. When people highly respect somebody that's in a position of authority, it's because they are a leader by example. They're not a dictator. A dictator is somebody like Hitler, somebody like Trump, somebody that wants to sit up here and control everybody else around them like they're little minions. But a leader is like, I'm one of you. A dictator is somebody that looks down on everybody. Like a dictator is like this. I'm the boss and all of you are beneath me. Respect me because I'm me. I'm up here. They think they so high and mighty. But a leader is somebody that's like, I'm just like you. I ain't no better than you. You ain't no better than me. We just the same, bro. We equal. But somebody needs to lead the pack. And I'm not afraid to lead the pack, okay? So let's go ahead. That's a true leader, is where they feel like we are all one. We are all the same. Nobody is better than anybody else. Those are true leaders. But people that want to like dictate, nah. So I digress a little bit, but let's talk about why is it so difficult to develop adult friends? Because not everybody grows up, everybody gets older, but not everybody matures. Everybody is getting older, but not everybody is maturing. Not everybody is evolving. People are growing up, but people are not evolving. So you can have somebody that is you can have somebody that's in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s even, but they still behave like a child. They still have the mindset of a child. They think things like a child. And what's difficult is where you're having a conversation with a person that's older, that's an adult, that's a grown adult. But the way that their mindset is, it's like the mindset of a child. And it's very difficult when you yourself have the mindset of an adult. So let me tell you something. To you young people, you people out there in your 20s and stuff like that, and you are very mature for your age, sometimes when you want to, like sometimes you may want to go and be friends with people that are a little bit older than you because they have more life experience. But sometimes, baby, let me tell you, you could be in your 20s and you can know more than somebody in their 30s and 40s because of stuff that you've been through, because you've worked on yourself. You see, when it comes to making friendships, you want to go more so by what you feel in your heart. You know what I'm saying? Do you vibe with that person? Do you all vibe on a mental level? Like, do you all have similar mindsets? I mean, you all have like the same mindset, similar morals, similar values. You view the world in a certain way. Do you all have the same type of heart? If you're a very loving person, and you're a very empathetic person, and you're compassionate to other people, and you place yourself in other people's shoes, it's going to cause difficulties if you try to be friends with somebody that's apathetic, a person that lacks empathy, people that cannot give that to you. And the problem is that a lot of adults try to become friends because of, obligation. Like maybe we work in the same company. Maybe we go to the same school. Maybe we're in the same because you're in the same vicinity. They sometimes feel obligated. Maybe we live in the same neighborhood. Maybe we're neighbors. We think, we have to be friends. We do not have to be friends. Not everybody is a friend. People are acquaintances, but not everybody is a friend. And a lot of times people feel like And a lot of times when we develop friendships as an adult, it's because like there's something that you all are doing as you're bonding. If all you all do is drink together and go out to the club and dress up and you know shake your tails and run around and do that kind of stuff, you'll turn up friends. But can you and your turn up friends sit down and have a real deep conversation? Can y'all, like, would you be able to hang with those friends if y'all weren't getting drunk and going out and go partying? I don't think so. Or those, another one, and I know this specifically because I've been there, those friends that y'all always, you know, like smoking together, the Mary Jane, you know what I'm saying? Y'all over here getting high together. Y'all rolling up. Y'all like, let's match. All y'all doing is just exchanging that. That's all y'all doing. But would y'all be able to continue to have a friendship if the weed wasn't involved? You know what I'm saying? Would y'all? I don't think so. A lot of those times, those are not real friends. I learned this in my journey, along my journey when I was in college, that, you know, the friends that I had became, or even like after college, you know, just in the neighborhood, like friends that not even friends, people that I met and we were call each other friends. We weren't really friends. We just smoked together. And no, that's not a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So really the issue is that a lot of us are trying to, if we try to develop a friendship off of, you know, trauma bonding or superficial things, it's not going to be genuine. It's not going to be real. And a lot of times what can happen is that people can try to force a friendship onto you because they want to be your friend. They want a friend, so they're going to try to force you to be their friend. And a lot of times what can happen is when a person is very lonely, like, you know, they don't have very many friends and they are at this desperate attempt to have just a friend in general, they will find someone that they feel like, I want that person to be my friend, and they will literally force it. And if they're forcing a friendship, it's going to feel inauthentic. It's going to feel cringy because energy cannot lie. Like, think of those friends that are genuine people. Like, you know, we genuinely vibe with each other, you know, like okay, let me tell you, when a person is trying to force their way to be your friend, it's gonna, like, the energy that they give off is gonna come off as very, like, inauthentic. It's not gonna be genuine. It's not gonna be real. It's gonna be, I'm just doing this because I want something in return. You know, people that force the friendships, they overstep their boundaries with you. They cross them. They cross them to a point where, like, they feel like, what do I mean by crossing your boundaries? Meaning they may call you just unexpectedly. Like, you know, first of all, like, yes, because we have these phones, doesn't mean that we have to just call people up unannounced. Unless it's important, unless it's an important thing and you need to talk to them right now, then okay, you can call them. But honestly, proper etiquette now, because it's 2022, if you want to just have a conversation with somebody, you want to just talk with them, send them a text and be like, hey, are you busy? Can I talk with you right now? Because you have no idea what that person is doing. That person could be busy doing something. And if they're busy and you expect them to call and you call them right away, you could be distracting them from doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just call people like that. Unless it's important, unless it's very important, then you can do that, right? But what happens is that people, they may call you at, like, just call you up like that, or they may call you too often. They may call you way too early in the morning before you even got your day started. Like, common courtesy, you need to wait until around noon before you're trying to call somebody, because honestly, like, unless it's important, wait until around noon. Let people have their morning to themselves. And if you getting up and you calling somebody's phone at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, baby, that's very inconsiderate. What if they was asleep? What if you just woke them up out of their sleep? Because and the thing is, those people that be calling you at those wee hours in the morning, just call you impulsively, those types of friends, baby, they don't even want nothing. They just want somebody to talk to. They want something from you. They may call you up and be like, hey, can you come take me somewhere? Or, hey, can you come do this for me? Hey, can you come do this? Whatever the case was. Don't even want nothing important. They just want to talk. They just want your energy. Those types of friends that want your energy will do whatever they need to get it. But the problem is, when you're dealing with an inauthentic person, they want all of your energy, but they're barely giving you energy in return. They're barely reciprocating that energy. Like, they can't even give you their undivided attention. They can't even be present with you. They can't even give you the common courtesy to listen when you speak. They can't even give you the common courtesy to, you know, like, respect your time. Our time is precious. And when people feel like they are entitled to your time, that's another red flag. You know how sometimes people may think like, well, since you ain't doing nothing, then that means that I can have your time and you can come over here and chill with me and do this with. No, baby. Ain't nobody entitled to your time and your energy. But these fake friends out here that's trying to force a friendship, those people that want to like, that call you back to back to back to back to back, calling you 8 times in a row when you don't answer the phone. Sweetie, if they did not answer the first time and they didn't answer the second time, what makes you think they're going to answer the third time? That does not mean that you continue to keep calling people back to back to back. That's okay for a child to do that because a child don't know no better. But you a grown adult, you should know better by now. You don't call people's phone back to back to back if they ain't answered the phone. Obviously, they can't get to you right now because what that is doing, when a person is calling you back to back, they want your energy right then and there. In that moment, in that present moment. They really could care less about what you got going on or what's going on with you. And if you have the time, if you have the energy, if you have the capacity, they don't care about that. They just want what they want when they want it. It's my energy and I want it now. That's kind of how they feel. It's my money and I need it now. That's what they want. They want it right now. People that lack boundaries like that with other people lack boundaries with themselves. Because people that have strong boundaries, they realize I'm not entitled to this person's time. They may call that person up. Oh, they ain't answer. They probably busy. I'll just call them another time. But they'll call me back. You know what I'm saying? Or they send a text. Or they ain't got back to me. They'll get back to me eventually. They busy. They fine. They got stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people got to understand that. You have to have strong boundaries with yourself. And we got to realize that, like, look, bro, everybody has their own lives outside of friendships. So the thing is, when people force friendships, they pretty much want to revolve their whole life around that friendship. They want to pretty much like suck this person into their life. And they really like, you know, they basically try to force the connection and like, you know, just throw themselves on you. And they want you to play. They just want to play this role in your life because they want to be in your life because they want your energy. And the thing is, people could be saying like they want to be in your life, but they want to help you and they want to assist you. And really, it's not even to help you. It's to take from you. It's to take from your energy. Another thing you got to watch out for my, you know, my girlies that's like in your 20s and stuff like that. And you trying to, you know, you may befriend somebody that may be a little older than you, like maybe 10 years older or whatever, 10, 15 years older in their 30s. Some of those women that's really trying to be friends with people in their 20s are, it's like, if they don't have friends, and you can, there's many reasons why people don't have friends, you know, but if they're at a point where like, they're in their 30s, they don't really have very many friends, and when you try to befriend them, you can kind of tell why they don't have any friends. And it's because it's because of your behavior. It's because of your energy. It's because of your vibe. It's because you give off the vibe of inauthenticity. It's like you feel the need to try so hard. You feel the need to force things. And I feel like it's a desperate attempt because it's like, and not everybody is for everybody. And it's like, if it's not flowing naturally, don't force it. Because when people are desperate, they try to force things. And then when you're desperate, you push people away and you repel them. You got to be able to like give and sometimes get out of the way. You got to sometimes give your love and then kind of get out of the way to have your proper boundaries with yourself. But when people don't do that, they don't understand that. That's exactly why they tend to struggle to have friendships. Oh, what I was saying about like how sometimes women in their 30s when a woman is in her 30s and she hasn't really matured very much within herself, like she still is very much of like a teenager at like in her mind, she looks at another girl that's like, you know, in her 20s or something like that, and she wants to try to like little sister you. She'll try to like, and I don't mean like little sister like in like a good way. I mean like in a bad way. Like she wants to try to like basically look at you like you her little flunky, like the one that she could just sit here and coach and just, you know, like pretty much what she does is that she wants to have a friendship, but because she's older, she wants to feel like the superior one. She wants to feel like the boss. She wants to feel like the leader because that power is going to make her feel good. So she probably thinks like she probably can't get that type of dynamic with people her age. So she goes after women that are younger because it's all of a power thing. When people are controlling and they want to control situations and they try to enter into friendships trying to control, they go after people that they feel like they can control. When they want power, when a person is trying to get power externally, it's because they don't feel any power within themselves. So they go to situations and try to build friendships with people, especially people that are younger than them, because they feel like it's going to give them a sense of power. Like they feel like because they have lived on this earth longer than you, that they have more life experience than you, that they have more wisdom. And in some cases, they may have more life experience in certain avenues. But in some cases, they may not have the same experiences as you. But regardless, even if they have more life experiences, it's all about how much did they grow? How much did they mature? Did they heal? Did they grow? Did they evolve? Or did they settle within the version of themselves that they were and didn't go heal themselves, didn't work on themselves, didn't become a more healed version of themselves? Many people can get stuck where they are. Many people can be okay with where they are in their development, and they don't want to change. And they just want to bounce from person to person and expect people to just accept them as they are and be patient with them. Like a lot of people that feel like, like it just takes a lot of patience to deal with me. Yes, but you know what, baby? This don't mean that everybody finna sit here and cater to you like you just some child. Like, bro, as an adult, you have to take responsibility for your behaviors and your energy. And if you know for a fact that you got to chill out a little bit, if you know for a fact that you got to calm down a little bit, if you know for a fact that you could sometimes be a little hyper, if you know how sometimes that you may be a little anxious, you have to work on that, okay? So that you can enter a new friendship in a more calm state. Because like, honestly, let's be real about it. If a person has very like intense energy that's very, very overwhelming, like this person just has a lot of like, like just being around their energy is exhausting, that person has to work on themselves to bring their energy down, because sometimes energies just don't mesh well. A lot of times, because you may have things in common, y'all may trauma bond, but those trauma bonds sometimes ain't real friendships. It's just a trauma bond. Because y'all have bonded over something traumatic. That's it. But y'all could be at different developments of your healing stage. Because if you are further along on your healing journey and you trauma bonded with somebody that has not gotten to where you are, they're going to hold you back because their mindset and how they view things is at this level when you are at this level. And if y'all trauma bonding over something and they give you their mindset, that can cause confusion in you, because you could be like, wait a minute, did I do? And next thing you know, you just kind of going down here and then you at their level. If you feel yourself having to dumb yourself down, or you feel yourself having to come down to another person's mindset, that ain't for you. You want to be around people that match your mindset or at a different level. That's what you want, either here or up, not here or down. Because you've done so much work on yourself. We're like, listen, it's better for you to be solo and be by yourself and be independent than to have fake friendships around you. And another reason why it's difficult to develop friends at this age is because like everyone's just at a different level of maturity. And if you are at different levels of maturity, no matter what age you are at, you're not going to mesh well. And that's just a fact. But the thing is, sometimes what can happen is when you have wounds like, wounds of codependency, you sometimes can get codependent on certain friendships because it's like, well, I have somebody, so let me do this. But sometimes those codependents, sometimes those people that you are like codependent with may not necessarily like really be serving your highest good, because it's like it's coming from a place of I want to be dependent on this connection to give me something that I need that I'm not trying to go get for myself. You know what I'm saying? And when people get codependent, it's where like, it's where they feel like they have to have this friend with them at all times. Like they feel like they can't go out somewhere without a friend. They feel like they can't go hang out somewhere without a friend. They feel like they can't go make a decision for themselves without a friend. They feel like they can't even, do great things for themselves without having a friend around. And if you ain't trying to be independent, if you ain't trying to like, what am I trying to say? It's not kind of rude. it's necessary for you to learn. It's necessary for you to learn how to be independent, because you, like, if you're trying to basically develop friendships with people, but you trying to like cling on so tightly to them where you're kind of suffocating them, then that's a problem. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You have to, yes, thank you, you got to really be secure within yourself, to where you're like, if that person that I love and care about has their own things going on, that's fine, go ahead, do what you got to do. Like, let me not get in your way. They respect that. They respect your boundaries. They respect your time. They respect your energy, and they know that, like, when I have your energy, I'm grateful. I'm grateful I can have your energy. I can experience your energy. We can make an energy exchange. But when you ready to go, when it's time, okay, thank you so much for your time and energy. Hope you have a good day. I'll see you later. You know what I'm saying? They understand that when you have that respect for yourself and you have respect for other people's energy, you don't feel entitled to it. But the problem is, a lot of people feel entitled to other people's energy. They feel entitled to other people's time. It don't matter how close you are with somebody, you ain't entitled to nobody's energy and time. And that's really how friendships last. Let me tell you a little quick story about one of my friends from high school. We met when we were freshmen in high school, so we are still friends to this day. You know, this is one of my best friends. And when we were in college, I went off to college. I left, you know, I went away to school and stuff like that and everything. Now, this friend, she stayed home and she attended community college. You know, and she had her own things that she was going through personally. You know, I had my own things that I was going through personally. And there was this one time where I was really going through it. And I had called her up. And one thing about my friend is, I know that, like, by the time we left high school, if I ever called her, she wasn't going to answer the phone right away. She probably would get back to me a little bit later. You know what I'm saying? So I had got used to that. She was setting boundaries with me. But then this one time, like, I called her up and she didn't answer the phone. So I texted her and I'm like, hey, I had texted her a long message or whatever. And she basically got back to me a couple days later. And she was like, hey, I love you. I'm really sorry. Like, I'm really sorry, but I just can't be there for you at this time. Like, I do love you. I want you to be okay. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to heal and do what you got to do, but I'm really sorry. And that was very mature of her, because, like, and that taught me something. Because I'm like, she was letting me know that she does care and that she does support me and that she does love me. But she was basically saying that she only had enough energy for herself and her priorities. You know, she also she has twin nieces that she was babysitting too. So she pretty much was like a parent at that point. You know what I'm saying? So she worked, babysat, and was in school. She had a lot of stuff to deal with. So I understood that. And what I learned from that moment was, even though I want to talk to my friend because I'm going through stuff, I'm not entitled to her time and energy. Even if I'm going through it, I have to respect that because when I'm going through it, she could be going through it too, and she may not have that to give to me. So I learned from that, and I said, okay, that's fine, whatever. And we are still friends to this day because I respected that boundary that she set. And that's what can happen sometimes. You may not be able to be there for your friends all the time because you may have your own things to deal with, especially as an adult. You know, adults, we have different things. Some people have children and some people have spouses. Some people are taking care of other things. Some people just we all have our own different priorities. We all have our own separate lives. We just have to be able to respect everybody's lives and realize that when we can meet each other, we can. But trying to force things, trying to force stuff to happen, trying to create stuff just so we can do this or whatever the case is, sometimes you can't always force things. You can't always force interactions with friends. You can't always force connections, because if you're forcing it, it's not going to work out. And a lot of times what can happen is when you're a person that you haven't outgrown that people pleaser phase, and there's someone that is so desperate to be your friend and you can tell that they don't have any other friends. So as a way of being nice, you kind of just be their friend. And that's the thing. Be kind. You don't have to be nice. I mean, there's a difference between being nice and being kind. Being kind is being a kind-hearted person. It's genuine. It's loving, right? But being nice is people-pleasing. It's doing whatever you can just to get people to like you. Doing whatever you can to keep the peace. But when you're kind, sometimes what you have to do is you may have to be kind to yourself even if it may hurt another person. But when you're being nice, that means that you may do something that seems like the right thing, but but at the end of the day, it's kind of like the wrong thing because of the aftermath of what happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're trying to basically be friends with somebody to be nice, you're leading this person on, you're not being true and authentic with them, but you're being friends with them because you're just being nice. Like, if that's the case, don't be friends with that person. Do not. Don't be friends with somebody out of pity. Be friends with somebody because you actually want to be their friend. And there's another thing. Just because somebody wants to be your friend does not mean that you have to be their friend. Let me say that again. Just because somebody want to be your friend don't mean that you have to be their friend. What do I mean by that? When people are trying to build a friendship with you, but you feel like, you know, I don't feel like this connection is really serving my highest good. I really feel like this is more of a transactional situation. I feel like it's more one-sided. This is not really helping me. I don't really vibe well with this person. I really can be okay without this friendship. I don't really want this friendship. You got to ask yourself that question. Do I want this friendship, or do they want the friendship? It's about you. It's about what you want. It ain't about what they want. It ain't about what they want, because they could want to be your friend, not because they want to build with you and be a good person, to be a supportive person for you. They could want to be your friend because they want your energy. They could want to be your friend because they know that you got a lot of money. They want to borrow money from you. They could want to be your friend because they know you always got weed and they want to smoke with you. They could want to be your friend because you got a car and they think, oh, maybe if I chill around with you, you could give me rides and take me places. They may want to be your friend because you're popular. They may want to be your friend because you booming and popping on social media, and they want to know you by association and cloud off your name. Oh, I know Terriann Belle. I know how we cool. We besties. No, we not. If Terry ain't cool with you, you ain't cool with Terriann Belle, sweetie. Yeah, I ain't finna say all that, but I was finna digress and say something personal about my life. But this is what I'm learning in my life right now, in this moment, that if I don't want to be somebody's friend, I don't have to. And I'm not a bad person for feeling that. And you are not a bad person for feeling that and not wanting to be somebody's friend. Like, you are not a bad person for refusing a friendship that you do not want because you feel like it's not serving your highest good. You know what I'm saying? You are not a bad person, because your energy is precious, your time is precious, and you know, your inner court, your inner circle are supposed, this is something that my spiritual mother taught me. She basically taught me this in college. She said that your inner court, the people that you have closest to you, are supposed to be people that uplift you, support you, love you, respect you, and you don't have to question their loyalty. They're not going to betray you. These people that genuinely have your best interests at heart. She said this, and it stuck with me to this very day. And we actually have the same name, and we spell it the same. You know, it's so cute. But her birthday's coming up. Her birthday is on Halloween. So anyway, but like I was saying, when she was telling me that your inner quarter are supposed to be the people that have your best interests at heart, that's something that you need to keep in mind. So she said, if there is anybody in your inner court that is not respecting you, that is not uplifting you, they are not being loyal to you, they are not loving you unconditionally, they are, did I say respect? They're not, you know, they don't have your best interest at heart. Those are the people that need to be removed from your inner court, because your inner court has, she basically said this, your inner court has a direct reflection on you and your energy and your mindset and your health, everything. It has a direct reflection on it. So if you are around somebody that has a different mindset than you, and they may view the world differently, they may view the world from a very closed mindset, if they're in your ear, sometimes those words can start manifesting in your head, and you can start confusing yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't say something to you that didn't made you kind of wait, what? So you got to make sure that if anybody comes into your life, anybody comes into your energy, and you start feeling like you were clear-headed, but then when this person came in and y'all had conversation, now all of a sudden your mind is kind of all up in your head about something. They done planted something into your mind. They done planted a toxic seed into your mind. That's why you really have to be careful about who you converse with. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, one thing I've learned about people that Okay, this gonna sound kind of rude, but it's so many people in this world that are so arrogantly ignorant. They are so arrogantly ignorant. They have no idea what the heck they are talking about, but they speak with so much conviction as if what they're saying is merit, as if what they're saying is factual, as if what they're saying is real. But it's like, baby, you have no idea how ignorant you're sounding right now, but you're trying to sound so smart. You ever had conversations with people like that? Where you could just, and the thing is, they talk, they just keep going, And it's just like the whole time, it's like they're saying a lot, but they're not saying nothing at all. You saying a whole lot of stuff, but you ain't saying nothing. You saying a lot, but you ain't saying nothing at all, Carl. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing about people. Arrogantly ignorant. And people that feel the need to like sound smart or just sound like they have like they're very knowledgeable and stuff like that. Like you don't want to befriend people that feel like they have to prove that they are your friend, or prove as to why you need to allow them to be your friend, or prove themselves to you. Friendships are supposed to be natural. It's like a natural mutual exchange. But if a person is feeling like they have to prove that they need to be your friend, like let's say you spiritual, like, you know, we spiritual, right? This is my spiritual community. And you got people, you have other friends that are not as spiritual as you are. They haven't really gone through that deeper spiritual awakening that you have. You guys are not on the same frequency. And you can tell that they're at a lower vibration than you. Those people will try to prove themselves that they're at a high vibration when they're really not. Because a person that's really truly at a high vibration, their energy itself speaks for themselves. Their actions speak louder than their words, and their energy speaks the loudest. Energy is unspoken, but it has the biggest effect. And the thing is, when people try to prove, they're all talk. They say all of this stuff. They say everything that sounds good because they want people to believe them. But it's like, if your actions don't show that and your energy is also telling me otherwise. And that's another thing about when people try to befriend spiritual people. We are very intuitive. We pick up on energies. We are very discerning. So you can say all of this stuff like, I meditate every day and I read my Bible. I read my journal. And yes, I'm just so spiritual. No, you don't. Your energy is telling me that you're lying. The thing is, spiritual people are real. We real. I'm telling you, listen, you don't have to meditate every day. You don't have to meditate every day to be called spiritual. You know what I'm saying? People think like, well, if you want to be spiritual, then you have to meditate every day. You have to read the word. You have to read the Bible. Let me tell you something. The real work is done outside of meditation. The real work is done in the present moment. Let me tell you something. You could sit up there and meditate multiple times a day, but if you are still living in the flesh, that meditation means nothing. Nothing at all. I did coaching calls. I'm taking a break from coaching calls for right now, personal break. But a few months ago, I was doing a coaching call for a person. And this person said to me that they meditate 4 times a day. And that they have their career and all of this kind of stuff. But another thing that they were doing was fraud, was scamming people. That's wrong. That's unrighteous. That's morally wrong because you're stealing from people. You're stealing people's money. They came from a city that does that a lot. So I'm understanding as to why. Like, I'm not judging them. I even told them, I'm like, you grew up around that a lot. You come from a city where it's a lot of that. But still it's wrong. And I just hope that you eventually change that. It wasn't like I was letting them know, like, whatever, hope that they change, but they have to change it on their own. But this person meditated 4 times a day. And this person also tried to come at me and be like, well, what do you do every day? I'm like, sweetie, don't try to come at me and ask me my questions. This ain't about me. You called me for my help, okay? You ain't got to question me. But at this point, this person was just trying to like fish for information to basically, it was like a competition. It's like, well, I meditate 4 times. How many do you do? Baby, you meditating 4 times a day, but you still scamming people, you still at fraud. Does that meditation really change you? It really doesn't. Because some people can meditate, but they're just going through the motions. You know what I'm saying? Are you aligning more with your higher self? You see what I'm saying? See, that's the thing. That's the thing. And of course, when it comes to like reading the word and reading the Bible, of course, you know, God wants us to study and read the word more and spend more time. Of course we do. Of course we do. But that's not the only way that you have to spend time with God. Sometimes you spending time with God is you just sitting in your silence and your solitude and just allowing God to speak to you. A lot of the revelations that I've reached on myself, a lot of the wisdom that I've gained was from me sitting like this, like, and thinking. I do have my Bible. I do read my word. I've been reading my word, you know, more than I was a couple of years ago. I have a whole Bible, a Bible journal right here, right? That I got specifically for my Bible study. And I haven't really looked at this in like a month, pretty much. I'll be honest with you. I ain't really looked at this in like a month because I've been healing myself. I've been doing my shadow work, and I keep it right here on my altar so that I can see it. You know what I'm saying? I keep it right there on my altar so that I see it. But I be knowing that sometimes, like, I may want to go read it, but I'm like, my mind is elsewhere. I need to deal with what is within my mind. And what's within my mind? My trauma that I have to go heal. So let me go do the shadow work and go heal. Then I can come back. You know what I'm saying? God ain't gonna judge you. But that's the thing. People that are very closed-minded feel like you have to do this to be spiritual. And if you don't, then you're not spiritual. No, people that have the most to say about what's spiritual and what's not spiritual are people that are not even spiritual. Like, sweetie. So basically what you're doing is you're gaslighting. That's what you're doing. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm telling you now. So you really got to watch out for that too, because if there are people that are trying to be your friend and they may want to say, you know how they say, like, listen, a friend is supposed to tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. But sometimes what can happen is they could take that and take it out of context, and they could really go overboard and overstep by telling you what you need to hear. Like, if you're getting to a point where you are insulting somebody, talking down on them and belittling them, but you're masking it as telling them what they need to hear, that's not being genuine, baby. Because a real true friend is going to tell you what you need to hear. The truth hurts, but they're not going to stab you with it. They're going to just gently, okay. I had to tell a friend of mine that's going through something personal. She ended up saying something. She was kind of going through some issues with her partner. And because she was so upset, she went to her partner's parent and sent them a message. She wasn't like cursing the person out, but the way that the message was sent was a little bit disrespectful. It wasn't completely blatantly disrespectful, but it was in a sense a little disrespectful. I did have to tell my friend that. I had to tell her, I'm like, baby, I understand why you are hurt. I understand exactly why you are hurt. But I'm not going to lie, baby, that was a little bit disrespectful because she is an adult. She is a parent. And it's just that was just wrong to say that to her. You know, you could have said it in a different way. You could have said it differently, but I will say, baby, that was a little strong. That was a little bit disrespectful. What that is that's me acknowledge. That's me, like, you want to hold your friends accountable, because I feel like I wouldn't have been a friend if I wasn't holding her accountable. You know, she a couple years younger than me, right? So, like, I definitely had to be like, yeah, baby, that's not right, you know. But she's young, so she has to learn. But it's basically saying, like, I'm acknowledging your feelings. I'm understanding why you are upset. And I understand why you did that. You are justified. But I do have to say that in the future, try not to react that way. Try to respond in a better way. We can't change it, but you can learn from that mistake. Helping your friend recognize the mistake, but also validating their emotions to let them know that you're not judging them, but you're empathizing with them. That's what a friend does. In no way did I degrade her and put her down, especially when she's already fragile. She's already fragile. She's already emotional. I'm not going to go hurt her. No, bro. That's not how you do that. So listen. In order to have good friends, you have to be a good friend. And you have to be a good friend to yourself first. When you are a good friend to yourself first, then you're able to be a good friend to other people as well. But the thing is, a lot of people, a lot of adults did not know how to become a good friend. A lot of their friendships that they had was very superficial, or was more so transactional, or was very surface level, and it did not get very deep. When you see people when they have a lot of friends and they like, I have all of these friends, like I'm friends with everybody in the whole entire class. Sweetie, are you being your true authentic self? Because when you are real, you're going to have people that either accept you or reject you. It's no in between. Some people, actually, there is a neutral. There is a neutral. Some people would be like, well, I mean, I don't reject her, but I don't really accept her. I could really care less. You know what I mean? Or him, whatever. So it's like when you show up as your true, raw, authentic self, people will reject you. People will accept you. But if you seem to be accepted by everybody, you're putting on a facade. You're playing a role. You're being a chameleon and sort of like adopting the personalities of everyone around you to blend in, to fix, to get everybody to like you. The thing is, when you true to yourself and you show up as your raw, authentic self in those moments, you gonna stay grounded in yourself. If everybody else is getting up and woo, jumping around and dancing, but you ain't the type of person, you more of the, I'll just sit back and observe. You know what I'm saying? Some people can look at the fact that you sitting back and observing where everybody getting up and dancing and singing around, and you probably like, I just chill. I just rather enjoy. Some people will respect that and accept it. Some people won't. Some people will be like, well, why she being that way? Why they ain't doing this? You know what I'm saying? But if you're a person where you tend to put on a mask in every single group that you go around to get all these friends, you're not even being authentic with yourself. You're creating superficial, surface level friendships. And then sometimes those people that have all of these friends tend to be having issues with things. A lot of those people tend to be having issues with those friendships because it didn't go past the surface. It was very superficial. It was very surface level. It's people right now that don't have very many friends because, like, it's people out there in this world today that don't have very many friends because they've been used, they've been taken advantage of, they've been traumatized, they've been hurt by people that they called their friends, and they're at a point now where they want to just heal before they let people back in their life. There are other people that don't have a lot of friends because they have to work on themselves first, because their behaviors, their issues that they have to work on within themselves is creating a blockage in building friendships with people. There are other people that have a lot of friends and are very popular, social butterflies, but those are not real, genuine, deep friendships. Those are very surface level. A lot of them are surface level. They could have 24 friends, but the only real ones that they could count, the only real ones they have, they could probably count on one hand. So don't look at somebody having a lot of friends as if like they're just, no. A lot of times that's a red flag. It's a red flag. And let me tell you, if you find a person that, you know, doesn't have a lot of friends, but when you come around them and you have a conversation with them and you feel like, wow, this is a real person. You a good person. Like, wow, you are just amazing. Like, what do you and your friends do? You got friends? Nah, I pretty much just chill by myself. That's the real person. You know what I'm saying? They probably done been through some stuff. But when you come across people that ain't got no friends and you can and like they have a lot of toxic ways, they have a lot of, you know, just they vibe ain't right, then you can understand like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna skedaddle and not deal with this. So yeah, like, honestly, bro, I need to charge this phone. It's always major differences as to why people have friends as to why they don't. It's not always because like that person is a bad person, because no, a lot of times people that ain't got that many friends now is because they've been an amazing friend to people, but people were not the same way to them in return. They're tired of being used. They're tired of being taken advantage of. Okay, gotta charge this. This phone almost was gonna die on me. Okay, let's see if I can set you. Okay, we kind of on the gangster lane, but that's okay. That's okay. And also, I wanted to kind of come on here and also really, you know, give like a word of advice when it comes to having to move on from a friendship. Because I just recently had to move on from a person that wanted to develop a friendship with me. This was an acquaintance that looked at me as their friend, or they even tried to call me their best friend at some point. Sorry. And I pretty much had to like break off the friendship with this person. Got it. Sorry. I'm charging my phone and it's doing this kind of funny stuff. Okay. Let me see if I can set something to hold it up. Okay, there we go. So basically what I had to do is I had to recently sort of, you know, move on from a friendship from somebody. And what had happened is this was a neighbor of mine that I met in my neighborhood last summer, right? Okay, I'm gonna have to just hold you. So basically what happened is this person that I met back in, hold on, I need my lip gloss. 1 second. Alrighty, so what happened is I met this person last year, and what this person did is that they were the type of person where like they wanted me to be their friend because they wanted my energy. They really, really wanted my energy. But this person was also very desperate for friends around this time because they did not have very many friends. And they had mentioned this in the beginning, like, oh, I don't have very many friends. You know, I pretty much just do this. And then the more that I got to know them, I'm like, now I can kind of see. Yeah. And I will say that like, the person was like cool people, you know what I'm saying? Like we got along, but it got to a point where it was draining me because this person was kind of using me as like their personal therapist, as like their personal diary, you know, just dumping all of their stuff all onto me, spending hours talking about their stuff. And then when it was like time for me to get a word in, I couldn't get a word in. They monopolized the whole conversation. When I would try to talk, when I would try to speak, this person would cut me off and would continue to like keep on talking and whatever. And I'm just like, bro, at this point, it's not even a conversation. It was a lecture. You want me to sit here and listen to you lecture me? No, I'm trying to have a conversation. And then that's what I didn't like, because this person they didn't care about what I had to say. They only cared about, I just want somebody to listen to me. I just need somebody to listen to me. And it's like, sweetie, if you want somebody to listen to you, get a diary. Talk to yourself in the mirror. You can't just, no. And another thing that happened is that like, what did this person do? No, it was just a lot of stuff. I'm not even going to get into detail about it, but basically this person just kept rubbing me the wrong way. They just kept rubbing me the wrong way. It was a lot of red flags, and I kept dismissing it. I kept just overlooking it. I kept just not taking it into consideration. And so finally it got to a point where I'm like, I really got to get away from this person. I really do. So basically what happened is, last year, I cut this person off and I ghosted them. I didn't say anything to them. I just blocked their number and then left. And then what had happened was a whole year later, we kind of like, we live in the same neighborhood. So this person was right down the street from me. So we're going to run into each other eventually. So what had happened was, and this is how I knew that I did not need to allow this person back into my life, because the first time they came into my life is when I was in a very vulnerable, fragile state. And I was sort of coming out of that, and I was getting ready to like elevate. And then this person came in and I went boom, right back down. You got to be careful who you let in your life. So what had happened is the devil be sitting in his minions when people are in a very vulnerable, fragile state. Because when I'm happy, when I'm like in my good days, this person was not coming around. So then finally one day what happened is, one of those days, it was like a month ago, right? One of those days, I walk outside my apartment, and like I walk outside the apartment and I come from the back door and I walk around the side of the apartment, and then I physically run into them. Like they were at the front of my apartment and like I had just came from the back. So I didn't see them, because what was happening is that I walked outside because I was getting ready to walk around the block. I was going to go smoke, you know? So what had happened is I had the thing in my mouth, and I'm like, lighting up using the lighter to light up my I was smoking a black and out. But y'all ever seen Set It Off, when Cleo was getting ready to, like, when Cleo was in the car and she had lit the cigarette and started crying, and it was kind of like, she was like, you know that part I'm talking about? She was like crying while she was lighting the cigarette. Bro, I love that part. I love Cleo. But I swear I had that moment where I really felt like Cleo, because I was upset. I was emotional. And I'm like, let me just get out the house. Let me give myself some fresh air. I'm getting ready to cry. I was lighting my cigarette and I'm literally tearing up as I'm lighting my black and matte. I'm like, I'm lighting this up. And then as soon as I'm looking down, right? And as soon as I come up to the front and I look up, there they are. And I'm like, oh. So it kind of looked like this. I'm like, I wasn't looking. I wasn't paying attention. Be alert. Be alert. Be vigilant. Be vigilant. 1 Peter 5 and 8. Okay. Ooh. Slipper. Okay. But anyway. So I was in that very vulnerable, fragile state, and I ran right into them. You know what I'm saying? So when this happened, it was just kind of like, okay, somebody that I could talk to. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that I could talk to. And then we started having a whole conversation. This person was like walking the dog. They dog sick. We kind of walked up and down the block or whatever. And, you know, I had told them, I'm like, well, this person kind of pretty much just started spilling all of their life story and stuff like that. Like pretty much how it happened the first time. And then they're like, but anyway, what about you? What's going on with you? And I'm like, well, I've just been a little bit upset because this is something I'm currently dealing with. This is what I'm feeling with right now. And I started talking about that or whatever. And then that pretty much was like that. This person pretty much used my trauma as an invitation to come back into my life. Like when I had told them what happened to me, they're like, well, when it happened, why didn't you come get me? Why didn't you call me? Why do you think you're that important in my life where I need to call you when I'm going through something traumatic? Like, baby, I wasn't even talking to you at this time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to use my trauma as a way for you to feel like you need to open up access into my life? No. No. I was fine. And I will be fine. But this is what you got to realize, that, you know, when you get ready to level up and stuff like that, and it, like, the devil gonna come in there and try to tempt you, try to see if you're gonna go back. And what had happened is, the last time this person was in my life and I was spending time with them, because this person got their own inner demons, one of their demons had attached to me. And I had to physically purge that demon out of me. It was like a kundalini. It felt like a kundalini awakening. I don't know. Something crazy happened to my body. And I feel like it was a lot that contributed to it. It was a lot that was contributing to it. And like, I was having physical symptoms. But deep down, I knew that that was some type of spiritual breakthrough. Something spiritual was going on with that. And I'm still trying to come to terms with this at this point, because what had happened to me was a near-death experience. Like, I literally was at the point where I was at life or death. And I had to choose something. And I'm like, no, I'm living. I'm living. And at that point, I was just like, Lord, please just get me out of this pain. Lord, please get me out of this pain. That's the only thing I could do was call on God. And that's one thing that nobody else can really understand. You know what I'm saying? But something like that, like, it took me a whole year to recover from that. You know what I'm saying? So, and what had happened was, right before that near-death experience happened, I was spending a lot of time with this person. So whatever spirit, demon that they was dealing with had latched itself onto me. And I had to literally, like, I had to get when I was having it came in the form of a very, very painful period. Painful cramps. Okay, I have endometriosis, but this was the worst cramps I ever had in my life. It was at a point where I'm a soldier, right? I'm a warrior. I was able to take that because I didn't deal with cramps ever since I was 13. But what happened was, that was the one time that my cramps made me cry because I was in so much pain. But not only was I in pain, I was scared, because like women, we know, like ladies, we know our body. We know what's normal and we know what's not normal. That was not normal. So I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, you in all of this pain and nothing you do was working. I literally thought I was freaking dying, bro. I had to get to a point where I had to take a blanket. I had did this twice. Once when I was in the tub trying to calm my cramps down. The other time when I was laying down, I had got a towel or like a blanket. I stuffed it in my mouth like this. And I had to scream. I was doing this so I could muffle my sound, because my scream was kind of loud. But I was in so much pain, I had to scream. I felt like I was going through labor pains and I wasn't even pregnant. And like, now I can understand why women scream and yell when they be going through contractions, because that's what it felt like, bro. I honestly don't know what this was, bro. It felt like, but yeah. And you know what had happened is something that I will never forget, is when the second time I screamed, the second time I had screamed, I remember saying, spirit of anger, get out. And when I was saying out, I was screaming out, and I felt something vibrating in my stomach. I felt something come up, and right after that, I had to go vomit, right? And after that point, my mom had walked into the room, and she like, you okay? My face sitting in my garbage can like this. And as soon as she walked in, you okay? And I'm blah, blah, blah. And at that point, she like, oh my gosh, because I couldn't even make it to the bathroom. And then she was like, after I finished it, she was like, give me that garbage can. She took it, she dumped it in the toilet, rinsed it out, put a new bag in, brought it back in here. And she like, you want me to take you to the ER? I'm like, please take me to the emergency room. At that point, I couldn't do it no more. But it's like little stuff like that. When like, when physical things happen to your body that you cannot explain, and you are around certain people, all of that plays a role. And that was one thing that I remember. I'm like, I don't know, bro, because as soon as I welcomed you into my life, some crazy stuff started happening. And another thing is that before that had even happened, something was different with my attitude. Like, I was a little bit more mean. I was a little bit more sassy, more like I was acting real like a bitch, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was acting real mean, but that's not even in my spirit no more. Like, I didn't heal that part of myself. And it had even came to a point where I was chilling with that neighbor, and one of like our weed dudes had came up, right? And I was grabbing something from him. And usually I'd be like chilling with my dudes, like I'll be business transaction, whatever. But that particular time I was going off on him. I'm like, nah, this ain't enough. This ain't enough. What you mean? I want my money. And he like, you know what, fam? I could just give you this dub back. I'm like, I'm not in the mood for this right now. Like, y'all just acting, he like, you acting different. You don't even never act like this. And I'm like, you know what? You right. You right. I'm like, you right. I'm sorry, dude. I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on with me. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. And he had told me, he like, nah, bro. He said something. He like, spirits can rub off on you. And as soon as he said that, I looked right over at that person, right over at the neighbor. And I'm like, yeah, you right. I know what you meant. You right. Spirits can rub off on you. You really, really got to pay attention to the people like that. This person, you really, really got to pay attention to the people that you have around you, because when they spirit starts to rub off on you, because even then, like, that was last year, right? Now this year, like a month ago, when this person had came into my life and I was kind of like cool with them again, or whatever the case was, we was talking, I had started to notice that same attitude I had before, it was coming back. And I was feeling, my energy was feeling funny. Like, I was like, I just don't feel like myself. And then I kept thinking, it's like, bro, look who you just invited back into your life. And now look what happened. Because it was just one day I was sitting here like being all rude to my family and stuff like that. And usually I don't really, sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't. But I was actually blatantly being rude to them. And when I'm sitting here thinking, it's like my flesh was saying it, but my soul wasn't. It was weird. It was so weird. And I was just like, yeah, I need to cleanse my energy. I need to get away from this person. No, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this person anymore, because I know exactly where this is from. So yeah, I really didn't care about how this person tried to say how much they have changed and how much they are different and everything. I'm like, no, baby, you have not changed, because I can feel all of the energy. So what I had to do is I ended up reaching out to this person, and I told them how I felt, the things that they did to me and why it rubbed me the wrong way, and the things that I didn't appreciate, and this is how you can handle when you have to break off things from a friendship and you want to move forward. And sometimes a conversation is needed. You know what I'm saying? A conversation is necessary, because if that friend did some things to you that you did not appreciate, or that rubbed you the wrong way, or that you didn't like, speak out on that and tell them. You don't have to attack their character. You don't have to belittle them and put them down. All you got to do is make it about how you feel, okay? Address the action, not the character. That's another thing that people got to realize. Just because this person hurts you with their actions doesn't mean that you have to go attacking their character, because that's wrong. So basically how you can do it is be like, okay, well, when you did this made me feel this way. Or I feel like this when you did this. You're making it about how you feel and how this person made you feel because of their actions. And what that's doing is it's allowing your truth to be spoken. It's allowing you to grow and acknowledge and let it off your chest, so you're not holding it in and you're not harboring any resentment towards that person. You're letting them know. Because the thing is, if you hold it in, you're going to find yourself wanting to say it to them, but you're avoiding them. So what happened is I pretty much like just vocalized to them, like, yes, this is what happened. This is what I didn't appreciate this. I didn't appreciate this. When you did this, I didn't really like that. I didn't appreciate that. And I was letting this person know that I'm like, I don't think that you're a bad person. I don't think that I don't feel like that at all. But I feel like you just have some more healing that you need to do and more growth within yourself. And I can recognize it because I've outgrown that already. And I can see it in you that you have more growth to do. And I feel like because of that, it's blocking us from having a friendship, because it's in a way like it's creating a blockage there. And I also had to be real, and I had to be like, listen, I also feel that this friendship is taking away from me more than it is pouring into me. I feel like this relationship is draining me. I feel like this relationship is taking so much of my energy, and I don't feel like it's pouring back into me. And right now, I need to focus on myself and reserve my energy for myself for right now because of everything that I've been through and everything that I have to accomplish. So as of right now, I just feel it's best for me to move on from this friendship, for us to create some space. And I also said, I'm like, I would appreciate if you do not call me for a while. I would appreciate if you don't call me, because basically what I said was I recorded it as a voice memo and I sent it to him as a text. Like, I sent it to him in a message, in a text message. And I pretty much was saying, like, I really don't want to have a conversation with you about it. I really just wanted to speak my piece and be done with it and move on, because I've forgiven you for everything that you've done. My mind is not going to change. I'm not going to allow you to be my friend. Even if you were to apologize and admit your faults, I'm still going to move on from this friendship. So I feel like there was no need to have a conversation. We don't need to have a conversation to have closure. I'm basically just telling you, this is why I'm moving on. This is what I'm feeling. This is why I haven't spoken to you in a week. This is what's going on. This is why I blocked you. Why I had to unblock them and send the message. And that was it. So the person, they didn't respond or anything like that. But it was like, I basically felt a whole lot better. I felt relieved. I felt like I really lifted this weight off of my shoulders, because I ended up finally, one, really standing up for myself. Two, having a sort of conflict, but it wasn't like aggressive conflict, but it was just because I used to avoid confrontation all the time, wanting to avoid it. That's why last year I had ghosted them. But this particular time, I'm like, no, I'm going to handle this differently. I'm going to handle this differently. I do not want to be their friend, but I'm going to tell them why I don't want to be their friend, because there's nothing wrong with that. Because one, that helps me to grow, because I know that I can speak my truth. And I didn't even do it in a negative way. I didn't do it in like a very disrespectful way. It was very calm. I was very peaceful with it, because I was done being angry. And I was able to just have a regular conversation with them. That helps me to grow, but it also could help that person grow, because what if they're not fully aware of what they were doing? But by me calling out their behaviors and how their behaviors affected me and rubbed me the wrong way, it'll help them to more so self-reflect on what they were doing. Sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes people just ain't gonna be, sometimes what happens is like a person is not gonna realize how their behavior is toxic if ain't nobody really said nothing to them. Ain't nobody really like told them like, nah, this is wrong. Sometimes people can be enabled so long that people don't really tell them about themselves and they don't want to listen. Or sometimes people may tell them about themselves, but they still don't want to listen. So like it could be family members, loved ones. So if it's a person that's like a kind of a complete stranger to you, somebody that don't even know you from a lick of paint, but just based off of their observation, their experience with you, no matter how brief it was, if they're able to see your faults and your problems, it's open, baby. It's very salient. It's very obvious of what you have, if a person can see that. So it's at a point where sometimes you're going to have to just tell people straight up how you feel. If they rub you the wrong way, speak on it. If they say something that you don't like, speak on it. Oh, I don't like how you said that. I don't like what you just said. Don't say that to me. You have to, because if you don't, you're going to harbor resentment and you're going to feel like you're going to end up blocking your throat chakra. You're going to block a lot of stuff if you don't speak up about how you feel. You don't have to be rude or disrespectful, but like just tell people straight up. And also it's like this person is very lonely and they really just want a friend. They really just want to have friends. And I can understand that. But it's like, I had told them, I'm like, there's a possibility that we can be friends. But as of right now, I just feel like this friendship is not serving my highest good. And sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes people need to hear that, because it's like they realize that they need to grow, because they're missing out on friendships if they're not growing. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's necessary for that. Just because somebody want to be a friend, don't mean they have to be your friend. The same with relationships. Just because somebody wants to date you, don't mean you got to date them. Just because somebody wants to sleep with you, don't mean you got to sleep with them, right? Same principle. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to allow anybody in your life that you do not want in your life. especially if they force their way into your life. People that are meant to be in your life, divine intervention, there's like a reason as to why you two connected for some reason. Like you two connected for some reason because it's something that you are giving them, and it's something that it's like, you know what I'm saying? There's a need for you two to be together. That's divine intervention. But when a person kind of forces their way into your life, like, you know, this person just hits you up randomly on social media and trying to like hit you, slide in your DMs because trying to get in your energy, red flag. Or the way this happened is I was walking around my neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, minding my own business, and then this person just immediately just starts talking to me and and sucked me into this whole conversation, and then that's where it started. Forced their way in. Anytime somebody forced their way in, it's a red flag. But yeah, exactly. Don't feel bad for wanting to remove yourself from anybody. No, sweetie, I don't know what you're saying. But yeah, that's all it is. Eventually, as people tend to grow more with themselves and everything like that. Thank you. As they begin to grow and as they begin to heal, they're going to become a better friend of themselves. So they're going to be a better friend to other people. But until then, it's okay to just chill by yourself. Because when you're chilling by yourself and you start doing things that you like to do, like stuff that brings your soul joy. Oh, this is a good way. Find friends that you all share pastimes that fulfills your soul, not satisfies your flesh. Because when you have friends, when you all come together to satisfy your flesh, like drinking or smoking or partying, those are superficial friends. Those are surface level friends. Those are fleshly friends. Those ain't soul friends. And the thing is, sometimes what can happen is like those people that force their way into your life can try to tell you that y'all soulmates or that y'all soul family, that y'all soul tribe, when really that's not even the case. It's not even the case. Because if we were soul tribe, we would be having the same mindset here. But if we ain't got the same mindset, we don't. Sweetie, are you okay? I'm going to just block this person because I really ain't got the time for people right now. You see people with they troll accounts. All you got is a S at your thing and you keep saying stuff. Like, I really haven't read the comments this time. I've been too focused on what I'm saying because I don't want to get distracted. So if anybody said hi to me, I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I was purposely not looking at the comments. Okay. I'm sorry. I think they probably gone. Exactly. Satan busy. That's what I'm saying. But yeah. So I hope that this helped you learning about real friends and everything. Because honestly, I will say that friends are important, but quality over quantity. Quality friends over quantity. And if you ain't got quality friends, you just chill by yourself until they come into your life. Start putting yourself out there. Start going to new things. Start going to places that you enjoy. Like, for example, let's say you like museums. Start going to a different museums and see people that you may meet there. If you're the type of person where, like, you know, let's say you want to learn martial arts, join a martial arts class or something like that. You can meet friends there. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all are actively trying to better yourselves. You have something that you all are doing that is bettering yourself. So you're probably on the same mindset, on the same wavelength as a lot of those people. So meet people that, you know, it's better for you to develop friendships with people that you all feel connected on a soul level, where your souls are connecting, not your flesh is not connecting. Because when you know friendships, anybody, you know when you have a soul connection with somebody because you feel that love for them. You feel like that safety with them. But if you kind of feel like you have to, another thing is, you will, when it's a person that you feel a soul connection with, you are able to be completely open and honest and vulnerable with them, and you don't even want to withhold information. Like, you wouldn't be afraid to withhold information because you feel like you can trust this person. You feel like this person is not going to judge me. But if you're afraid to say certain things around certain friends because you're afraid they're going to judge you or look at you differently, or you feel like they're not going to understand, and you don't feel safe enough to do that, or you feel like they're probably going to throw it back in your face later, yeah, then probably ain't your people, baby. They probably ain't your people. Everybody just trying to find their people. But you got to first find yourself, because then you're going to be able to see yourself in other people. When you can see yourself in other people, the good qualities about you, not like the old versions of who you used to be, the versions of where you are now and where you're headed, those are your people. Sometimes you can come across people that they say you are what you attract. Sometimes you are attracting a past version of yourself. And in order for you to heal that past version of yourself is by seeing that physical representation in another person, so that you handle them with love and with grace and with empathy and with compassion, so that you heal that part of yourself. Sometimes that's why people come in there. Yes, exactly. That was a lot. That was a lot. All right, y'all. I'm finna hop off this live. I'm getting tired. But I want to thank y'all so much for listening. I hope this live have helped you. And thank you so much. I hope y'all have a lovely and beautiful rest of your day. Wait, end the live. Okay, bye-bye. It's supposed to be a day. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too. Love you too. This is somebody asked. Yes, this is a onesie. I got this onesie from Walmart. Yeah, they had a bunch of little cute little onesies out there and stuff like that. So go get one at Walmart. Yes. Alrighty. Bye-bye, y'all.